Hello, everybody. Today we're going to explore some famous quotes by some famous inspirational people. Our first quote is by Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou was an American poet, memoirist, and civil rights activist. She published 7 autobiographies, 3 books of essays, and several books of poetry, and is credited with a list of plays, movies, and television shows spanning over 50 years. She received dozens of awards and more than 50 honorary degrees. Here's her quote. I've learned people will forget what you've said, people will forget what you've done, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Next, we have a quote by Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein's intellectual achievements and originality have made the word Einstein synonymous with genius. He has many different quotes that he said, and they are wonderful and valuable. Here's one of them. Strive not to be a success, but to be of value. And that he certainly proved himself to be. Next up, we have Eleanor Roosevelt. She was the longest-serving First Lady of the White House. She was also an activist herself. As the chair of the United Nations Human Rights Commission, Eleanor Roosevelt was the driving force in creating the 1948 Charter of Liberties, which will always be her legacy, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Here's her quote. Remember, nobody can make you feel inferior without your consent. Our next quote is by the very inspirational Helen Keller. Helen Keller was born June 27, 1880. She was an American author and educator who was blind and deaf. Keller was the first blind and deaf woman to graduate from college in the United States. In 1913, she began lecturing with the aid of an interpreter, primarily on behalf of the American Foundation for the Blind, which she later established a $2 million endowment fund, and her lecture tours took her several times around the world. She co-founded the American Civil Liberties Union with the American civil rights activist Roger Nash Baldwin and others in 1920. Her efforts to improve the treatment of deaf and blind were influential in removing the disabled from asylums. She also promoted the organization of commissions for the blind in 30 states by 1937. Here is her quote. When one door of happiness closes, another opens, but we often look so long at the closed door, we do not see the one that is open for us. Our last quote is by a man named Walt Disney. Walt Disney's fame and accomplishments did not come easy. He created his beloved movies and touched the hearts of so many men and women around the world with his stories. He opened Disney World, which is now known as the most magical place on earth. His movies are an escape from reality, a glimpse back in time to the innocence of being a child. Here is his quote, and he certainly lived and proved it to be true. All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. And how true is that?